As a business person, if you think coding is easy, you're wrong. And frankly, that should terrify you. Sure, anyone can write code, but is it good code? There's a lot of emphasis on running lean startups to get to market fast. Getting scrappy is a common startup mantra these days, but that's only half the battle. You still need to protect your users' data and privacy. You still need to be able to scale up, and hopefully you can get to market fast without accumulating so much technical debt that you will spend months, if not years, fixing it all. A vast majority of startups should be using many of the following technical concepts: secure socket layer, continuous integration, continuous deployment, containers or virtual machines, encryption, hashing, integration points, API keys, DNS, tracing, logging, routing, firewalls, what you see is what you get editors, concurrency, and parallelism. And that's just to name a few. As well, there's many important technical principles to follow throughout development and deployment, including cryptography, best practices, scalability, reliability, privacy, securing potential vulnerabilities, you aren't going to need it principle, don't repeat yourself principle, and single responsibility principle. And that's, again, just to name a few. This is truly a long list, and each item requires hands-on experience to be proficient. Now here's the truth. Coders with little experience may know how to do some of these tasks. But even if that's true, how can you as a business-minded person validate that your coders are following best practices? How can you as a business-minded founder verify that your product does not contain any significant privacy or security flaws that could result in a breach of both your users' data and their trust? And once your product gets traction, will it scale, or will you waste time and money fixing a bunch of issues? Look, I myself was once a young and inexperienced software systems engineering graduate who thought I knew everything. You want a scheduling app? Piece of cake. Do you need a marketplace website for selling gently used children's toys? I can do that in my sleep. And that's the real irony here. Inexperienced coders don't often realize that they are inexperienced. They will have a simplistic view of how easy technical challenges are to solve without grasping the consequences of their design decision. At the end of the day, what you want as a startup founder is a product in the market. What if you didn't have to worry about whether the inexperience of your team was going to land you in hot water with your users or even the law? What if you could trust that your coders are creating a scalable and reliable application for your users? That's where a startup engine comes into play. A startup engine such as the eHelply Superstack is your ticket to building a robust application that you can use to get to market quickly. In our opinion, a startup engine comprises a solution to the following significant problems. First, a startup engine provides a reliable, secure, and scalable platform for your coders to leverage. Secondly, that platform must take care of many of the technical concepts and principles that we discussed earlier. That way, you don't need to worry about validating that your coders are following best practices. And even more importantly, you don't need to concern yourself with whether your product will run into serious issues related to those concepts and principles. Next, a startup engine should provide peripheral tools, documentation, and assistance to help your team get up and running quickly. A startup engine should allow your programmers to focus on the business rules of your product, and the engine should take care of the bulk of the heavy lifting. Finally, a startup engine should grow with you and your company. The engine should continue to improve and become more feature-rich, giving your team more capabilities for free. The eHelply Superstack does all of these things and so much more. The Superstack can plug into existing code bases, and it can also be used in brand new code bases. Essentially, the Superstack is a cutting-edge, flexible startup engine focused on taking care of the heavy lifting to allow your team to prioritize business rules and getting to market. The Superstack is ever improving, and your team can utilize the features and tools where needed. Please learn more at ehelply.com.